This is Glenda Dawson, and I have Gale Wilson here with me. And we decided to do this show during the month of May to make people aware of what lupus and fibromyalgia is or are. This is a month of awareness for at least these two diseases. And I figured we could touch a little bit on what our symptoms are, share our stories. And if anybody has any questions, just put them on the chat. If you want to share this, a lot of people don't understand it, even though 1 out of 3 people in this world either have fibromyalgia or lupus. And, the statistics are so high, but yet people don't really understand it. And it is only through awareness that you get to understand, you get to know how long it takes us to get diagnosis. And then each one of us is so different. We each experience this different symptoms, even though the same illnesses. So Gail, welcome. How you doing?
I'm good today. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I love seeing your face. Beautiful.
Oh,
You always bring such positive energy, and that is something that's very important, isn't it?
it's so important. It's so important.
It is important because
Right.
that's
And when
how.
you have that positive energy,
Mhm,
then it just spreads. You
mhm,
know, when you bring it, it's just spread. It's contagious, and I love it.
and that's really how we can handle these illnesses and
Hmm.
diseases, because we already been through the depression.
Oh yes,
No, we first we would go through doctor and this one and that one and testing for years. Sometimes what it takes 6 to 10 years
yeah.
to get proper diagnosis. And what do? They all just want to give you painkillers
Oh yes.
and antidepressants. Well, I'm depressed because we can't figure out what it is. That's the first.
Exactly. Exactly.
And then I'm depressed because once I get a diagnosis, oh my God, my whole life has to change.
Exactly.
Because by the time we get a diagnosis, it's already at such a point that it is very wild.
Exactly. I mean,
It's full
just beyond,
blown, no
beyond.
treatment, no way of knowing what to do. We feel alone. Um,
Exactly.
so for you, how was your journey?
Well, my journey began. I was a workaholic. I loved
Mhm.
work and loved to travel. My husband and I, we just loved to do that. And then maybe like 2004, I began to get weak and tired. I'm like, that's not me because I'm strong.
Mhm.
I'm the one in the family that always did this and did that for everybody. So finally, after seeing the doctor for about 2 years or so, they said lupus. And I was like, what in the world is that? Had
Mhm.
never heard of lupus before. And once the doctor told me I would not live to see 2007, I got even more depressed. And then
Mhm.
I got out of the bed one day and said, well, hey, if I'm about to die, I'm going to live a little bit before I die. And I think once I just started saying, forget thinking about dying and start living, I
Mhm.
began to be able to live.
Mhm.
I just got up and I started living. And I
Yeah,
think that some people forget that doctors are just a man, they're
yeah,
humans.
right.
They're not God.
No.
And so some of us would just take, if the doctor say do this, then they say, I
Ooh,
gotta do it.
yeah,
Doctor said do it, I gotta do it. And I think how I am surviving now
mhm,
is I became a practicing patient because we're
mhm,
seeing practicing physicians.
yep,
Only thing they did was went to school, studied medicine for years.
uh-huh,
And so to help myself, I said, I'm going to study what they give me,
yep,
study some things that I can do to make my life easier, to be
mm,
able to move and live like I was doing before lupus became in my life.
mhm,
I'm doing that. I feel like I'm doing that. I do have down times. I have some times where I'm hurting, can't do something, but I have a life. I'm
yeah,
living.
exactly, exactly. Well, in my case, I was paralegal, workaholic also. Three children, three young children, and you just kept going. You never stopped. I never stopped.
Exactly.
And I went to many doctors, and
Mhm.
finally I had to go to New York
Okay.
to a big hospital there, and saw the head of the rheumatology department there.
Okay.
And finally, there was diagnosis. Of course, a lot of testing and
Oh
go
yeah.
back a few times because you can't just have it at the first time.
Exactly.
And mine, they discovered, especially for lupus, if I was in a flare up, it came out positive in the blood test. If I was not in a flare up, it came out negative. So, like I said, these are diseases that are very hard to um, diagnose because every single person is so different.
Right.
Even though, like in lupus, there is a set type of test, but in fibro, there are tests, but not blood tests.
Right.
There's CED blood tests, which, that could only mean if you have inflammation, basically,
Hmm.
you know, um, like lupus and fibromyalgia are chronic long-term diseases,
Exactly.
pain all over the place.
All over the place.
All over. I mean, we, I don't know about you, but I have experienced pain in my eyelashes.
I, I have too. Like
And it's
every
like,
single inch of my body.
yeah. And it's like, don't come near me. Don't breathe near me. Don't make a sound because even your noise pollution,
Exactly.
you can't, and that's when you're in a flare up. Now, for those people that do not know what it is, lupus is an autoimmune disease, which means that it's having to do with your immune system. So your body that usually fights infections and illnesses and all that needs bacteria, it actually fights the healthy tissue instead,
Right.
right? It affects the skin, the joints, internal organs like the kidney and the heart. Those are the big ones.
Hmm.
But it could affect so many other things. And unfortunately, like for myself, I know it was hereditary. Like my father had lupus, my mother had fibro.
Okay.
Even though they were not diagnosed, when we went through all the symptoms,
Hmm.
I was like, okay, now I know where I got it. So I had it in me.
Right.
It was just a matter of what trigger made it come out. What trigger made those wolves
Con-
roar and fully come out and bite me. Um, for me, it was a motorcycle accident.
wow.
And although I came out of it pretty much okay, except one foot, I had a broken bone, but
Hmm.
that shock, that trauma. And then
That
when
did
I
it.
when I finally went to the doctor, she says to me, here are your choices. You can stop working and apply for disability,
Hmm.
or you can die within 6 months. I was like, there's no choice here.
Exactly. Who wants to die in six
Who
months?
wants to die early? I wasn't even, I was in my 40s, but it was, in my 40s. Like, I,
Exactly. That's too young to die.
that's too young. I have young kids, too young.
Exactly.
So, I remember that that's when my depression really hit
Hmm.
because here's my lifelong dream to work in the legal sector of the workplace. And I've been doing it for 30 something years.
Hmm.
And then all of a sudden, I can't. It, it, and I'm sure you probably had same experience where
I did.
you probably went to some type of depression.
I was deeply depressed.
Hmm.
My daughter was about to graduate high school,
Hmm.
and she was also going to start going to college early to experience college life before the big crowd came. And so
Hmm.
I thought, okay, this is a good idea. So just going through that and someone telling you you won't see 2007, where your baby's getting ready to go to college. You
Uh-huh.
have a son, you have a husband, you have a mom who's dependent on you, and
Hmm.
you're like, what am I going to do?
Yep.
What am I going to do? I was deeply depressed.
Hmm.
And the medications that they gave me in the process are so toxic for our bodies.
Hmm.
And I just get so angry and frustrated now. The more I learn, the more I try to tell other people, because the doctors will give you this medication, and when you get your prescription filled, they give you a little sheet of paper explaining you what it does, what
Yep.
it can do, what it can't do, but it also tell you the bad stuff.
Yeah, the
It tell
side
you
effects, the real side
the
effects.
real side effect. It can mess with your liver, it can mess with your kidney, it can mess with your heart. You could die.
Yeah. Yeah.
So as I began to read all these different labels on the sheet, I'm
Hmm.
like, I don't want this. They're giving me medicine and telling me that it's going to help me, but then on the sheet it's saying you could die.
Hmm.
So why do I need to take this? You're just putting a band-aid on me.
Exactly.
And I hate that. And I know I'm not a doctor. I don't claim to be
No,
one,
me
but
neither.
I'm living my best life by
Yep.
being a practicing patient,
Exactly.
putting better things inside of my body.
Hmm.
Using sea moss, black seed oil, different things like that that helps our body. Those
Yep.
are natural things that are grown.
Hmm.
Everything that we really need for our body, God already got it on earth for us.
Yep. Yep.
And so some people may not believe it, but I believe it. And I just want to share my belief on that.
Hmm.
Everything that we actually need, it's already here for us.
Hmm.
And I feel like that's how being able to live. I can travel, I can go do this, I can do that. I'm seeing myself doing so much more than others that struggle with lupus. Not
Right.
that I don't have some bad times,
No, we all
but
do.
I'm living.
Right. You're trying to not just survive, but actually live life.
Exactly.
You may have to do adjustments. Like,
Hmm.
if you travel, you're used to driving 12, 15 hours. Well, you can't do that anymore. You
Exactly.
have to do 6 hours at a pop, or
Hmm.
7 hours at a pop, taking breaks and stuff like that. And every single day is so different.
It is.
It could be one day you could be perfectly fine, and then all of a sudden at night you get hit like a with a 2x4,
Yes.
and you're with pain all through the night, so you can't sleep. So there starts that vicious circle of a flare up.
Hmm.
And then add fibromyalgia, the pain to all the muscles
Oh my God.
and
Yes.
the bones, and puts it creates so many other problems, because what one doesn't take care of for you, the other one will.
Hmm. Exactly.
And then add medicines that you start taking one, and then you got to take another medicine for those side effects, and then you take another medicine for those side effects, and some of those you end up. I ended up at one point with 23 different types of medicines that I
I
was
was
taking
just about to
every
ask that
single
question.
day.
I was just about to ask you that question.
And then Humira. Inject yourself with this toxic stuff once a week. Out. I don't know if you know this, Gale, but I faint at needles. So when they take my blood, I usually have to sit in one of those chairs where they can actually revive me right after. I
Really?
I know it has to do when I was really young. They had a hard time finding my veins, so I have that.
Look, same here with the small veins.
Oh yeah,
Same here. They were like, "Where are your veins?"
yeah,
And I get frustrated because they have to stick me so many times. Say, I can't take it. I
yeah.
can't take it.
And once they stick you once, then fibromyalgia says, "Ooh,"
Exactly.
and kicks it in, so you're
Mhm.
already in pain. It's
You're
it
already in pain.
it's really um it's really amazing how we never really knew about all this. First time I
Exactly.
heard of the stuff was at the doctor's office. I was like, what? And I remember joining different support groups on Facebook,
Okay.
and some were good because they had a lot of information.
Mm-hmm.
Some was just too depressing.
Right.
And I was already in depression. I actually said I have to step away from these groups. Yes, we could share our experiences, but
Right.
it was just too much. It's
And sometimes it's like that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So it's good to learn that we're all going through the same things or similar things, but
Right.
sometimes it just gets to be too much. Now, you were saying about everything is on earth, God giving us everything that we need.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, instead of chips, I make my own sweet potato chips.
Exactly.
Right?
Smart lady.
Yeah. Less inflammation,
Mm-hmm.
not that all those chemicals,
Exactly.
no salts, really, if I don't want to put, because it's sweet potatoes. I love sweet potatoes
I
anyway.
love sweet potatoes too.
Yeah. So, and then if you get some of the purple ones, they're
Mm-hmm.
even healthier than the regular ones. So you just have to learn, there's yoga. We could
Mm-hmm.
do yoga. So I can do yoga. I could do chair yoga. I could do
I
that.
was just about to say I'm not as flexible as some of my friends that can do
No.
it, but I can do the chair yoga as well. I tend to do the water aerobics.
Yeah.
That's very helpful for my joints and stuff. And
Mhm.
when I'm having a good day, I'll do the light Zumba class where you're not
Oh,
doing as too much.
yeah. You just
You
like
know, it's more laid back and slower. So
right.
I'm able to do that. I try to keep myself moving as much as I
Mhm.
can. But if I feel like I need to stop, I stop.
And
You know.
that is taking care of ourselves.
So that's kind of what I do.
That is.
Remember prednisone,
Ugh,
taking it.
I'm
And
allergic.
see, when I was taking prednisone, it was doing two things. It was giving me some form of relief, if that makes sense.
Uh huh.
But then it was swelling me up where I could hardly walk and balance myself. And I was like, this is not working for me. I told the doctor I can't do this
No.
because I was so swollen and hurting that it was awful.
Yeah, you were
It was
hurting because of the prednisone instead of just hurting from whatever diseases you have.
exactly. So I was like, oh my God, no, 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 no.
Now, I have found that qigong
Uh-huh.
is great for that because what it is just moving energy around. So
Okay.
you're moving yourself. And I have found that a lot of the Eastern medicine stuff is very helpful. If anyone can get to that has lupus or fibro, that
Hmm.
is really some of the stuff to do. Yoga, walking nice and slow,
Exactly.
right?
I
Take
do it all the time.
Now that the weather is getting better, in Pennsylvania, we actually still have sometimes 45 overnight, so it's still
Okay.
iffy. But you walk out, you take a little walk, you go to parks, you go, to actual where there's running fields, so you walk around and you do it easy, not rushed, not super.
Yeah, and you don't have to fit in and do what everybody else doing. You're doing
No,
things on your level.
right, exactly, and it is. I don't find that there's a cure all for anything. It's a combination
Hmm.
of everything that works for you.
Hmm.
Because what might work for me may not even work for you, may make it work
Exactly.
for you.
Exactly.
And you know, in the beginning, God bless them, and I know they meant it lovingly.
Right.
I used to get told, um, you need to do more exercise, you need to you know, go out and run. You need to go to the gym. You need to do this. Uh, well, you don't look like you're hurting. You look good. Yeah,
I
this is
hate that one.
makeup.
That's the
People,
one that I really hate. You look fine.
yeah,
So
what?
lupus must not be bothering you that bad. You look pretty good. And I'm like, I wish I felt like I looked.
And that is why I love these new scans that they have now, where they actually show the pain or whatever's going on in your
Yes.
body.
Mm-hmm.
I, you know, I know hospitals, certain hospitals in big cities have them. It's fantastic because you could actually take that printout and say, see, see the red?
This is me.
This is red. This is me.
This is
See
me.
that little tiny piece, my eyelashes or my eyebrows? That's what doesn't hurt.
Everything else is hurting.
Yeah. And, um, people don't even realize that some of these medicines that you get can actually, like you said, cause your death, especially if they give you the wrong combination or the cocktail, as I call it, for you.
Exactly.
I'm allergic to prednisone.
See?
When they gave me prednisone, I died. They had to pump my stomach out and bring me back with the paddles.
Wow.
And I was like, and this is what's supposed to help me? I don't think so. And I was like, nope, never again. And when I get something now, I usually tell my doctor, give me a written prescription. I
Uh-huh.
will look it up and then we'll talk about it.
Right. That's what you have to do. I end up like the first rheumatologist that I had, she did not like me at all. I had too many questions.
Oh,
She
yeah, no.
wanted me to just, I look, I'm your doctor. I'm
Hmm.
telling you to do this, so just do it.
Hmm.
But I can't just let you live my life. We got to talk about this together. This is
Yeah.
my life. But I couldn't
Or
have a
lack
voice
of,
with
whichever.
yeah, I couldn't have a voice with her. So finally I do have a doctor now. Well,
Right.
more than one doctor, but my rheumatologist that will listen to me.
And
You know,
that's
even if he doesn't agree, he'll say something like, we'll agree to disagree, and I'm willing to let you try this for a
uh-huh.
week or try this for 2 weeks. And if it works good, then we'll discuss it. And I'm like,
Right.
yay.
Yep. Exactly.
So, and
Exactly.
that's what I like about him.
Hmm.
Give me an opportunity versus polluting my body with all this toxic stuff
Right
that's
off the
killing
bat.
people.
Or
Yeah,
or keep you in such a zombie like manner that you don't even know what life is.
exactly. And that's why I was telling you, I said, okay, get up. If this is it, live. Just live.
Yeah.
Don't let them keep you in this bed.
Yeah.
And man, when I got back from Hawaii that time, I said, man, I'm not finna die. I'm finna live. I'm about to live. Right before that, when you said they had to bring you back from that
Mhm.
prednisone,
Yeah.
that's when I definitely stopped. I have a heart condition. I had that before lupus. So they were just, I can see them, but I
Yeah.
couldn't speak.
Yeah.
Like they're trying to get me back. So I'm like, what's going on with my heart? But I couldn't say anything.
Right.
The ambulance came to my house. They picked me up, and everybody, I can see everybody standing around, my family standing around me. They put me in the ambulance, and all while they're doing it, someone is over me, just,
Pumping.
pumping
Hmm.
my heart, just pumping my chest. And I'm like, please don't say this is it. I can't say, I couldn't, words would not even come out.
Right.
So, but finally I got to the hospital, and it was telling me that they didn't want me to take the prednisone anymore.
Yeah.
And so I know what you're talking about that prednisone. It is awful. So I no longer fool with prednisone, and I'm
No,
glad that I know not to. But it's dangerous.
it is.
At
It
least it was
is.
dangerous for me.
Oh no, I have it all over my records. No, no, no. Even if I have pneumonia or anything like that, because that's one of the first things that they go to for all that other stuff.
But everything they go to that prednisone.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it just breaks your bones up as well. If you Google
Yeah.
information, it tears your bones up. It just
Mm,
tears it up. So I'm like, I'm glad I don't take that. I'm glad I have a voice,
yes.
and I feel like speaking, just saying, I'm good. I'm a survivor. I can do this. Whether I actually believe I can or not, I feel like just speaking it. I speak these things into existence when I do that. I can
Exactly.
do this. I'm going to do that, and it happens. It literally
Now,
happens.
just think about this. Had we given up, okay, we wouldn't have written books. I wouldn't
Exactly.
be doing all this. I
Hmm.
wouldn't be. I wouldn't have Reiki in my life. I wouldn't even have my granddaughter in my life because I would never
Exactly.
have been able to see her. All these things that we would have missed out. You having grandkids,
Exactly.
enjoying life. And yes, we have to adjust.
Exactly.
And no, we cannot go back to working full time because that will kill us.
It will.
The stress alone,
Mm,
because now we're hypersensitive to anything.
exactly.
So if we used to feel a 15% uh, stress level, now we are like 75
Or
stress,
80.
yeah, or 80 for the same little thing. A drop fell on something dropped on the floor. It
Mhm.
just, it's very different. And it's very hard to explain to people
Right.
because we just work through it.
Hmm.
We just learn to continue to live and choose to live. It's like when I had the breast cancer, they were saying, oh, with lupus and all this other stuff. And I said, I know they're going to come out of remission, as I call it, or, they're going to wake up. But, I choose to live. So I'm going to choose to
Exactly.
live with cancer too. And the cancer, I went through the treatments, surgery, whatever. And I'm like, no, I'm not dying for anybody.
Exactly. There we go.
I die when I'm ready to go. It's not that I, think it's scary or anything, but I'm not ready to give up on life yet.
Look, I feel like this. God has too much in store for me. He wants
Exactly.
me doing so much more things. He's not ready for me. He's not ready for
Mhm,
me.
mhm,
So it's
exactly.
time to live, not
And
die.
and he's approving because otherwise he wouldn't be here, right? If
Exactly.
and that's the thing. It's very hard for people to understand sometimes what we go through.
Hmm.
Now, it is, with being for in the family, it isn't the only way we could get lupus. I know that if you take hormones, sometimes that wakes lupus up.
Hmm.
If you have a really traumatic event, for example, you're in a relationship and you continuously get uh, beat up,
Hmm.
that brings it on. That all that stress, all that negative energy that we've been holding on to,
Right.
and I believe it's one of the, yes, mind you, we do have to take some medicines at some time.
Yeah, some.
We have to combine the Eastern with the Western because,
Right.
like we stated before, there's not one way that
Hmm.
works that's a cure all for everything. But,
Exactly.
but the more you're able to get off that stuff,
Yes.
the more you're actually in life,
Hmm.
if that makes sense.
It makes sense.
So,
It makes a lot of sense. I used to be on 5,000, I'll never forget, 5,866 pills a year. That's
oof,
probably about 16 pills a day.
yeah.
To the point where my throat was literally felt like if you swallow another pill, you're not going to make it.
Yeah,
After about the third or fourth month, I was complaining to my doctors and they kept saying, just do it. You're going to feel better. I'm like, I'm not feeling better. It
no.
was just too much. It was too many pills.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so
Mm-hmm.
thankful that I'm not on all that anymore.
Oof. And you know, like a lot of people know nowadays, it's been researched that Epstein-Barr virus.
Hmm.
Okay, a lot of us have that, and we don't even realize it.
Exactly.
And that is where eating differently comes in. And if
It's a struggle.
it's a struggle. Yes, it's a struggle. But the thing is, if there's certain things that they tell me not to eat, I'm like, cool, okay, I don't like those things anyway.
Exactly.
So, you can't think of it as a diet. You have to think of it as a change.
Right.
A
Just a
change
new
that,
way of living, a new way
yeah,
of eating.
right. An adjustment.
There you go.
Adjustment so you can prolong your life and live your life.
Exactly.
So many, so many medicines with sulfa and antibiotics and, oh, that just mess your whole system up.
It does. It really does.
Now, it as much as I would like to say yes, they go away once we get everything managed, they
Hmm.
really don't go away. I call it as remission. You
Exactly.
know, they're there. It's
Hmm.
kind of like bef- like they were before you had that traumatic moment
Hmm.
where they woke up. Or a lot of people go through traumatic relationships, like
Exactly.
abusive relationships. Unfortunately, like Julie, God bless
Hmm.
you, Julie, because you know
Yeah.
it's very hard. And you can develop illnesses that turn into diseases without even knowing it.
Right. We have to love ourselves as well
Yes.
too. You have to learn how to love yourself. I used to be um so not caring about me. I
Hmm.
was more into caring about everybody else, and I would always put myself on the back burner.
Hmm.
Somebody needs something, I'm gonna go get it.
Yeah.
Even if I was supposed to go do something for me, I said I'll do that later.
Yeah.
I could be about to go get my hair done. I gotta go help them.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
you can't do that.
You
And so
have to
I
put
learned that, and
boundaries.
I
Boundaries.
learned it.
Yes. It's
I
very
learned.
hard because we're taught from your big, we help others, we give others, we share, we do this. It's always for others, 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 especially women. Always for others.
Yes.
you know? And
Yes.
nothing against men, guys. There's nothing against that, but that's what we have been programmed with.
That's the correct word. I was
Program.
programmed.
Right. So now we have to learn to deprogram
Hmm.
and put in a new program into our computer
Exactly.
and learn how to love ourselves, how to say no. That's a big
Exactly.
one.
That's a huge one.
That is a big one. And learning that those people that are around you that called you friends and they get angry at you because you cannot go out with them that day, even though you made plans,
Hmm.
they're not so much your friends.
Exactly. Oh my
Because if
God.
they were your friends,
They
they would
would care.
understand,
Hmm.
care for you. And when you're going through a flare up, they would prepare a dish for you. They would say, what can I help you with? Do you need
Exactly.
anything at the store? Can I take you to the doctor?
Exactly. They would be your friend.
Exactly. Exactly. There's a difference. And like you have a supporting husband. Thank
Hmm.
God. I
Thank
have
God.
now a supporting um, mate. He is very good to me. He
Hmm.
understands. Um, Sometimes he doesn't know the full um, symptoms, all the full symptoms of lupus
Right.
or fibro, because he's never experienced it. So
Exactly.
I would have to explain to him,
Hmm.
literally, look at me. And he's like, yeah. I said, everything hurts.
Exactly.
And
Everything. I've had to
everything.
do that too.
And yes,
Everything.
we plan to go to that store today, but just can't do it today.
Can't do it.
And he knows that when I get to that point, it's big because I'm not going,
Right.
you know. And we don't understand. A lot of people don't understand how much fatigue we have, much pain and swelling,
Oh
especially
my
in the
God, the
joints.
swelling, the pain. Yes.
It's like you look at your hands and you're like, these are not mine.
Exactly.
I don't know whose they
Like
are,
these are
but
not
they're
my
not
cheeks
mine.
today.
They're not mine. They're not mine. And headaches, um, around the eyes, and then of course the famous lupus
Little
butterfly,
fresh, yes.
which it isn't just here.
Mm-hmm.
It could
It's
be
every,
anywhere in the body.
and
It
that's
is
what I was
more
telling my friend. She
coming
was
here.
like, "You don't have that little butterfly
Yeah,
rash. You don't have that anymore." I said, "Yeah, I have the rashes, but it's not always in my face. I
right.
get it on my arms, my back. It's just everywhere."
And then they are still there. They may not be red, but you
Hmm.
still feel the
Exactly.
bumps, and they hardly ever go away once they come out in your body. It's
Exactly.
really annoying
It's
because you're
very.
like, what the heck?
It's like
That's
when you remember why you said is people may look at you and they don't understand. They
Right.
don't, because you're doing good. It's like you still have the lupus. It's like a boat that's sailing.
Yep.
Everything is smooth.
Uh-huh.
But if a strong wind, a hurricane comes, you can
Yeah.
feel that thing. As long as it's,
Very violent.
everything's
Very
okay, it'll
violent.
be smooth sailing. But you let that lupus come and hit, it's just like a hurricane. You're gonna know it, and everybody else is gonna know it.
Oh Lord. And I know we both have lupus and fibromyalgia.
Hmm.
I also have spondylitis
Okay.
and Raynaud's, which is, when your fingers get purple, even it's not having to do with the cold. You could be perfectly warm and all of a sudden they
They're purple.
frozen and
Yeah,
purple.
I have that as well. I've
Yeah.
had surgery on both hands,
Uh-huh.
and they'll. If I just, I think if I get overwhelmed, excited, if I do a little too much, there they go. They're purple and they're fat. They're
Uh-huh.
purple and fat.
And you're like, again, these are not my hands. Who
Hmm.
took my hands away? Can you give them back to me?
Exactly.
And, it's very important that we take care of ourselves. Like you
Very.
say, a practicing patient, I call it my own advocacy.
See,
I walk around with a binder. Every single doctor that I go to, the,
and you have it.
the thing gets printed out. I have it in this binder. So if they wanted to see blood tests from, a year ago, it's in this little section of the blood test. Just keep looking. Because you go to the doctor sometimes and you're like, they ask you all the same questions. And you're like, you have it on my record.
It's easy to forget. Ronald, it's
Uh,
easy to forget.
yeah, yeah. Mood swings, right? We have mood
Hmm.
swings. And
A
I'm
lot of
sorry to
those.
say, to everybody who's around us, um, don't take it personal. It
Don't take
just
it personal.
happens. It just
I had
happens.
told my husband, I'm so sorry. Don't take it personal.
No, no, you can't take it personal. It is just happens. Uh, uh, IBS.
Hmm.
I remember when everything was in a flare up in the very beginning, right after I got diagnosed. I was literally considering those old folks, underpants that you, because if I didn't know where a bathroom was, I would,
Might not make it.
yeah, you check out wherever you went. Like, okay, the bathroom is there. This is there, and you had to, and you had to keep going. And Michelle Perry, who's also a loopy, her front
Okay.
thing, but it's for real. We are really multi symptoms people that suffer these things, and people don't always understand.
They
You
don't.
know, but I see it like anything that we could reduce our stress, some relaxation like meditation, yoga,
Hmm.
um, qigong. I do Reiki also, so some of that.
Okay.
Um, just and I don't call meditation. You got to sit there like this, with your feet crossed and your. There's so many different ways of meditating. You
So many.
you could take a walk and look at the flowers as you go along, and that's meditation because it's taking your mind away from what
Exactly.
you're feeling at that moment. Um, you know, I can recommend Reiki. Thank you, Michelle. Recommends Reiki. And it's just so different if we're able to calm our stress. And that's why I say that is one of the things that why we cannot go back to work full time.
Exactly. We can't. We
We
can't do
can't.
that.
Every single day,
Hmm.
going, 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 going. There's no way. We will go back to that life sentence that they gave us,
Hmm.
5 months, a year, 5 years, whatever. We would not be able to experience what we're doing now. We would not be able to survive or even continue. Now, there are some some of us that
Hmm.
are very blessed that can do work full time
Some
still.
of us.
Yeah, even though there's just, in a blessed moment where their illnesses or diseases are kind of like sleeping right now.
Mm-hmm.
So they're able to withstand whatever goes on during the day. But you and I both know of a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
that try to go back to work. They start part time. Oh, we could do this. And then they attempt full time. And within 3 months, they're like,
Bring them back down
ba-
to earth.
back to the hospital multiple times and all that other stuff. And it's like, unfortunately, that's our life right now. But if we try to stay positive and never give up, no matter
No,
what illness that it is that you have,
exactly. No
keep
matter what.
fighting,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And you know, people, it isn't. It doesn't have to be a death sentence. Yes,
It does not.
We could die from complications of those illnesses and diseases. But if you do your best research, and
Mm-hmm.
not the TikTok people, not little things like that,
Exactly. Research.
actual recommended websites
Mm-hmm.
that help you look into all this and you know make you understand. There's checklists, right? There's checklists out there from hospitals where you can take to your rheumatologist and say, hey, I got this and this, and here's and then your rheumatologist has an idea of what you think you have, which then they could confirm or not with proper testing, proper diagnosis. You know, what is the best way to test for fibro? Is exactly those 18 points.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the first time I went, I had all 18 of 18 flared up.
You did.
Yeah. And she's like, and you're still walking. I said, not very well, obviously, since I'm
But
doing
you're
2 days.
walking.
But, I'm walking. Okay. I'm standing,
Mm-hmm.
sort of. And, but, and then the famous fog, brain fog. Uh, we walk in to do something. Something comes to mind. We go to another room and we just keep going and going and going. And maybe a few hours later, we remember what we started to do.
Because we will easily forget.
I don't know about you, but I have put, thank God my daughter was there that time. I've actually put ice cream in the cabinets and cans in the freezer.
I did that once before and I laughed.
It is very funny. Oh, we lost her. We lost her. Well, anyone, unfortunately, um, we lost Gale. Let's see if she comes back. Yep, she's back. Hi, Gail. We're back. Like we were talking about fibro fog and lupus fog. You're back, honey.
No, it's Glenda trying to connect, reconnect. I
You're
don't know what
back.
happened.
You're back. You're having a little trouble with your internet, but you're back. Can you hear me?
She's trying to connect, I think.
You're here. Your internet is having trouble. Okay. So to keep this going for those that are here and see this later, she'll hopefully Gail will be back. We have basically almost the same symptoms when you have fibro as you do lupus, except fibro doesn't attack our organs, our healthy cells. Gives us IBS, chronic fatigue syndrome, migraines, all types of headaches, really, um, bladder, painful bladder syndrome, joint disorders, anxiety, depression, even stuff with our heart, tachycardia syndrome. And we cannot always figure out where all this starts, but there's so much research right now, and all this awareness has helped those scientists continue to do research. And every single day, new things come along. But one thing that I do want to remind everyone, be your own advocate and never, never give up. Brain fog, pain, you know it, you feel it. You sometimes are even get sick to your stomach. Something that you've eaten all your life and all of a sudden it affects you bad. You sleep a lot or you don't sleep. You have sleepless nights where you just continue to be awake because of your pain. Your brain can't stop. And, things that trigger all these illnesses and diseases could be anything from stress to a trauma. If you have something that you are reliving, physical, emotional events, those things can affect not only fibromyalgia, but also lupus. If you work too hard, if you stress your body too hard, for example, if you're in a car accident and it's really bad, that could set you off. If you are a workaholic, that could set you off. Anything. If all of a sudden you get a scare, for example, your friend calls you from the hospital and they have them on in machines and all that, that could set you off. It is very important that you keep remembering that all this stress can set you off. I was continuing telling them, and you could have a lower quality of life because of it. Um, Sometimes we get depression. And I'm hoping that here she is, hopefully back.
Yay!
Yay!
I don't know what happened, y'all. I'm sorry.
Yay! I was just telling them that, you know, traumas or stress level can flare either one of them. For example, if you have a car accident,
Mm-hmm.
you could be perfectly well, and then all of a sudden it could be really bad, and your body just starts reacting to that. I have found,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this is the same with you, but if I have a cold,
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden it's like I'm flaring up and I'm like, wait, you're supposed to attack the bad cells, the bacteria. That not me. Not
Exactly.
not the body that is good. Let's not do that.
It
you know,
happened.
and I don't know that with fibromyalgia, I don't know if you know this, but I think you do because you, like you said, you're a practicing patient.
I
Um, there's a lot of suicide because we cannot handle
am.
so high, and the depression gets to be so deep that unless you reset your mind,
Mhm.
rethink, and change your perspective into a warrior mode instead of a victim mode,
Exactly.
you know, yes, we have it. Okay.
It's
It's
sad.
there. It's there. What
Do
can
you
you
remember when I shared that about the girl that, well, I had one friend that killed herself, and I was so depressed, and it made me go into a flare.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was so sad. She couldn't handle hurting all the time. She
Right.
said, I just can't take it. And but no one actually thought that she was going to kill herself. We just
Mm.
thought, she's struggling and
Mm-hmm.
she's going through. But she said, I can't take this anymore. I'm hurting every other minute.
Mm-hmm.
And we, was praying about it, was like, you're gonna be okay. You just gotta believe it. Don't keep saying you can't, you can't, you
Right.
can't.
Right.
I'm a firm believer of saying, I can do this. I can do this. Watch
Different
it
mindset.
done.
Different mindset.
Right.
Helps
But
so much. It's not it's not a cure, but it is a way to help your brain, help
mhm,
your body.
it really
And
is.
then, you're by raising the vibration, by
Mhm.
thinking positive and doing every single thing that you can for yourself, you actually start to feel better.
I
Like,
know.
you get your hair done. Oh my God, I feel so good. And, you I get my nails done and I'm like, oh, I feel good.
Exactly. Like, ooh, that looks good on
Yeah,
me. I look
starting
good.
for a little bit even. And you just take minute by minute, right?
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Minute by minute, second by second. This is what it's all about.
It is.
And unfortunately, we have to do this to bring this awareness so people can reach out. You're not alone.
Exactly.
Reach out to her, to Gail, to me, to any lupus groups that you see on Facebook, on anywhere, and check out some of the groups that are supportive. It's very important that they are supportive
Exactly.
because some groups, unfortunately, are not that supportive.
Nope. They
And
don't even want to discuss lupus.
no, no, they're discussing
Everything but lupus.
lupus. And it's okay to discuss other stuff because that's our life, but
But
you bring how you're dealing with what you got. So
right. But I
honesty
just
is
hate
good.
when people are ignored.
Yeah.
I was in a group before joining this group
Mhm.
of how people would say they need help and they're struggling. And some people would say, get over yourself and stop that.
Yes.
Be strong. You can't tell another person how
No.
they should be feeling.
And get over it. Oh my God. I was in that group, by the way.
Okay.
Okay. Let's just say that. And how can you tell somebody who's going through a major flare up, depression, and all that, get over it?
Exactly.
Hello. Um, that's like, telling an air. I can't even imagine. It's ridiculous. Of course, it's you're in already in depression. You're struggling.
Exactly.
What you need is, sweetheart, we're here. Just spill it out. What are you going through?
Right.
You
You
want to
need
private
that.
message me? Let's talk. You know, we're all going through this together. It isn't just you. So we're all here to help each other. And yes, like we've been talking about, it is not one fits all. It's a
Exactly. It's not.
combination of things.
It's not. Everybody's different.
Mhm. Now, somebody would tell me I would not be a paralegal
Mhm.
20 years ago. I would tell them, please, I was meant for this.
Yeah.
I loved the excitement. I liked the stress. I did. I loved the deadlines because that gave me the juice that I needed to do things
Right. You
and
thrived on that.
yeah, and
Yeah.
and the brain got to thinking all different ways of doing things. Now I look at stress. I moved from New Jersey to Pennsylvania to de-stress. One of the reasons I did that is because I did not want traffic.
I was gonna ask you that about traffic in Pennsylvania. I
Traffic,
know it's gotta be much better.
it's better. It depends on what areas,
Okay.
but it is a lot better than it is in Wayne, New Jersey, where it Wayne, New Jersey is a very big. It's a town, but it's very big. It's miles, 20 miles, 25
Wow.
miles, depending on which way you go. And there's a lot of people, a lot of cars. And
That's like
then
New York. I
it's
was to New
almost like
York and
New
it's
York,
like they
not
make
quite
their
New
own
York,
line.
not quite New York, but it could get there very easily.
New
So,
York make their own lines. We were
oh
in New
yeah,
York and I'm like, wait a minute, what's he doing? If they want to do something to get by, they will get by without being on a line.
yeah. No, I can't go to New York anymore. I can't. I really need to take Xanax to go to New York. Never mind. Actually, the last time I drove to New York,
Uh-huh.
my doctor threatened to keep me in the hospital because my blood pressure was so high.
Yeah, you leave New York alone.
Yeah, so
Look, we need you.
I had to hire somebody to take me to the appointments because
Wow.
I was like, nope. And I would like literally sit there and close my eyes and just sleep, try to sleep the whole way there. So I wouldn't even see all the craziness. Yeah, yeah, no.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. So it like this is all about awareness, people. So again, anyone that's out there, you're not alone. There's many different options. If you're depressed and you're having a hard time or having a hard time, period, reach out.
Reach out. Please
Reach
reach out.
out, please. Look, I am in about every single social media there is. From X to TikTok to Instagram to
It's everywhere.
YouTube to Facebook to Twitch, reach out and we could talk and we can get through this together. You're not alone.
Exactly. You're not alone.
You will never be alone. Don't go through this by yourself. We'll teach you how to be your own advocate or a practicing patient,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll teach you that there's a lot more than just what they're saying. Because what they go through is a cookie cutter thing, a cookie cutter diagnosis, a cookie cutter prognosis, a cookie cutter everything. They don't see beyond that because they're doctors. They're bound by what they're given.
Exactly.
They're only can do what they're given. And thankfully, we know the questions to ask the doctors to see if they're a good doctor.
Exactly.
We know by
We
experience,
know.
people, by experience,
Mm-hmm.
we know the doctors that care, that are
Mm-hmm.
willing to pay attention to what you say and what
Right.
you don't say. Because sometimes as patients, we get ashamed that we have to say we're in pain, or we're ashamed that we have to say, oh, we couldn't make it there, or we couldn't do this.
That was the
Because,
old me. That was the old
yeah,
me. Mm-hmm.
because we bring that doubt. Oh, that must have just been in my mind. My cousin is right, or my family member, or my friend. It's all in my mind. No, it's not.
It's not.
It's real,
It's
but
real.
you can get through it and you can still live. You can live life adjustments, and you can still live life. It may not you may not be able to sustain full time, high stress jobs anymore. Maybe you'll have to go into gardening.
Mm-hmm.
That is so fulfilling.
Yes.
Doing your own garden in your own backyard, it is great.
Yeah,
So,
I was asking Donna and everybody that I think know anything about gardening. I want to do that. I want to grow tomatoes, and everybody's telling me to start small. So that's what my next plan is: get me
oh,
small.
yeah, that's the best way. You start this year, you practice
So
what
I
I
guess
call.
my phone is cutting up. I don't know what's going on with my phone.
Well, we almost got to go anyway. But Gail, as always, sweetheart, love you.
Um, I hope everybody can hear me. I can't
Yeah,
hear
we could
anything or
hear you.
see anything.
Yes, yes, we could hear you.
It says network connection is on,
Yeah.
and I see me, but my mouth is stuck on the screen.
Oh, well, we could hear you. Love
That was really
you.
weird.
Well, we're going to say good night to everyone. Please reach out if you need anything, if you have any questions, and you're not alone. We have good supporting groups that we can direct you to. So, bye, Gail. Okay, Gail.
Be back. I can't believe that I have had a horrible time trying to stay on this thing.
It happens,
I don't know what
we're getting that
and
electromagnetic
now I can't hear you. I
showers.
can see you. I wasn't able to see you and hear you, but I can see you and can't hear you. So we're
There
gonna
you
listen
go.
to Glenda until I can
Yeah,
come
well,
on.
here we go. This is what Michael Murray says. Perfect. Yeah. So do that. Contact us and go for alternatives.
I can't believe my little thing keep going out.
Bye. Love you all.
Thank you. Have a
Thank
good one,
you all
everybody.
for being here. And we love you all and have a great, great day. And remember, we're here. Contact us.